I just hate how dusty this is. It's very dusty. But we're gonna have to allow it to be dusty so that I can be able to interact if people should come into the comment section. So let me pull out this first piece of content so that we could start this deep dive into our storytelling for today. So this was one Tasha K's audio. Someone sent this to me. I think it was my cousin, and she was asking me my opinion. So here you go.
I don't really don't care what nobody got to say because me personally, like, if anybody asks if I'm gay and shit like that, I don't see myself as I'm gay. Like, for me, I don't think I'm gay at all. Like, I'm not sick or doing some weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm with her.
So you never would have thought of being gay prior to this. So that's like your first time even having somebody throw that idea out there.
What?
The gay thing, like you never thought of yourself that way or whatever. Was it a little bit of like, was it tricky in your head to even DM a trans person, or you're like, oh, like is this?
I'm be honest with you, like when I just seen her, I was like, cause I knew who she was before. Like I seen her on the what's it called, doing the catfish shit. In 2020, I was always on my phone on the live and shit. I seen her doing shit like that. But I don't know, like I scrolled into her page, I saw her, seen she was in New York. I was looking at her shit. I was like, she looked good. Like you know what I'm saying? Texted her, and
It's been good ever since.
yeah.
Okay, so this is the feed where this is happening. This is where the content is coming from. I was trying to pull up the comment section because I've been windmilling in the comment section for the past couple of days now. And I want to talk about this because I feel like my last rant was about men and, and me trying to be balanced, lay lim, lay lur, wholeness. I do want to piggyback on the other side of that, the other, because this is like, we're not leaving out intersex people, although we never really have conversations about intersex people, which I think is the problem. Like, that's not taught enough in school. We're not educated about that. That's not part of what we learn. We really just kind of learn about X, Y, and XX. And so we don't realize that there's not a conversation about those different variables outside of the extremes. And so some people are going to come on this video and they're not even going to listen to the content, and they're going to say, oh no, we're not jealous of y'all. Why would we be jealous of y'all? Because y'all not even real women. Y'all want to be like us, blah, 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 whoopty, whoopty, whoop, the stuff that they always say. But I want to share this piece of content and then I'm going to start talking. So this is a guy that I follow who name is Seven Savan Bozeman, and the name of his Bomar, excuse me, Savan Bomar. And this is a moment from his understanding video. So he's explaining the difference between the female and the great mother. Okay, listen to this.
And below that segmentation line, we're going to just put the great mother. And I for sure know that we need to not confuse the great mother with earth females. And to make it very easy to understand, let's just imagine that there are female birds. So if you were to say that the great mother who also birthed whales, turtles, and everything else that you're seeing is a bird, you could see where your error will come in. So we have to then classify really the component of the female that she has, which is an external womb, as being why most connect even the earth human female to the great mother in that way.
Okay.
Because there could be many deceptions that can occur if you assume that the great mother is in that default category of goddess. So from there,
and so this is where the confusion comes in, and the ego and the arrogance come in from those who identify with the construct of womanhood, who were born with wombs. What he's saying in that clip, I don't know if y'all heard it, is that we can't say that everything in nature came from a bird simply because it has an external womb. Just because it's capable of carrying life, could this bird give birth to all manner of species and entities? And so that's the same thing with the human mother. Like, we sometimes confuse the human female with the divine goddess who has an external womb. And see, that being is not just these tropes and these archetypes and these ideas and these constructs we've created to speak about what womanhood means. That being was before all of that and defies all of that. Now, when I do these videos, I try not to talk over y'all head. This is one of the reasons why, I struggled with college. I struggled with academic learning because I never wanted to be the type of person that spoke over people's head, that that could not speak in a way that everybody could understand, even the most common people can understand. But what I'm realizing is that as society continues to get dumbed down, I don't really care about being relatable to a lot of people. I don't care if you understand what I'm saying. I don't care if you understand what I'm talking about, because you have all this information at your disposal and you choose to entertain ignorance. Tasha K, this I'm gonna answer the question. No, I don't think that black women like Tasha K are jealous of trans women or they hate them. But what I do think, I've never read the book The Art of War, but what I will say is this. Even without reading it, I could imagine that a part of the strategy would be to come for, attack, and pick on beings that you feel are inferior or more vulnerable than you as a strategy. Beings who you feel have less moral support. Beings that you feel, I think that this is what the beings like Candace Owens, I think that the Tasha K's, your Candace Owens, when I used to do sex work in the French Quarters when I was in my 20s, and I did sex work not because I had to, because I could have went and worked a job at McDonald's. I could have went and worked a job. I could have went and worked, like my first job that I ever had, I was 17 years old and I worked in a kitchen. I worked at a kitchen at a hotel in New Orleans. It was my first job. I was so excited. A white woman gave me the job. I wasn't even 18 years old. I started working there, and I was working in the kitchen washing dishes, and I was a hard worker. My grandmother was a custodian, so I understood hard work. So I was in there washing them dishes, doing my work. So me and the my manager, we had the same male name. We were given the same name at birth. So my birth name, which I am not ashamed of because it's beautiful, that name, just like your name change in the Bible, when you have your conscious awakening, your spiritual awakening, that's why I changed that name. Because as we grow, for some of us, our old names don't fit anymore. When a when a butterfly becomes a butterfly, do you still call it a caterpillar? No, you call it a name that fits. And so my name before I came into who I am now. I've changed my name many times, as a matter of fact. My nickname was Tila, which is why I legally changed my name to Tila. That's what my family called me. But my birth male name was, and I don't call it my dead name, it's just the old name. I don't do that with the community, but my old name was Antoine, and it was spelled Antwuynyne. And it was Antoine Leray. Very beautiful, very androgynous. Sometimes I think about using it again, but it was Antoine Leray. So his name was Antoine as well, but it was spelled differently. So the people who worked in there, they teased him, my supervisor, the co-workers who were other men, because it was an all-male kitchen, including myself. Even though I had started my transition, I was already, wearing my hair. I had grown my hair out. It was in a bob. I was petite. I was soft because I hadn't really done any hard work. Like, I had been through some things. The typical stuff. You know, beat up on by my uncles trying to make me tougher, bullied at school. I had went through things like that, but never had to do like really any aggressive labor other than mowing the yard and raking the yard and doing chores and stuff like that. So I was still pretty soft. And so I'm coming to work looking like a breath of fresh air, around all these niggas in the kitchen. And I used to be happy and chipper and did my work and didn't complain, and but because the Bible taught me, and church was teaching us that we were abominations, that it was something wrong with me. So I felt that heterosexual straight people and cis people secretly I thought they were better than me, right? So because this is where I was. I was just 17 years old. I didn't know what was there to teach me. There was no family members, there was no community, there was no place in the black community that told me you are beautiful, you are loved, you are special, you are your mother and your father, you're your grandmother, and you're a perfect combination of all of your ancestors. There was no space that was affirming me in this way. So I'm at work. They're teasing him because me and him got the same name. And he got mad, so he would work me harder than the rest of the employees. What he would let them go on breaks and make me work twice as hard to teach me because he was mad because they teased him. So he would exercise his power as the kitchen manager, and he would have me working while they sitting on the table just cackling and cracking jokes about me. And this is what I went through every day on my job. So I went to human resources, and when I went to human resources, it was all white people in the office. Now, I know about racism. I know all these stories about how black people get mistreated by white people. I'm hearing all these stories about the black man and his struggle and what he been through. And, I'm dealing with this inferiority because this is how society has groomed me. They always talking about grooming, but they're the main ones grooming. The church is grooming, the school system is grooming, all of them grooming. So I got this mentality that I'm inferior, and I go up in here to the office. These black men in the kitchen, and they working. Even though they making fun of me, teasing me, putting me down, I'm more concerned about them because I'm in my mind. They got families to feed, they got wives to take care of, they got children to take care of. This is where my 17-year-old mind is at. So I go into the office. The white women sitting up in there. They ready to fire him. Fuck this nigga. We got a good worker. You gonna work. Bitch, I don't give a damn if you a man, woman, punk, faggot, whatever it is. You work good. We probably could make you a manager. And truth be told, we probably could manipulate you better because we ain't got to worry about you raging and beating on your chest. We ain't got to worry about you saying it with your chest because you more in touch with your feminine side. So we'd love to make you a manager anyway, low key. So when I go up in there and I report him, they're ready to fire him. And I could not get this man fired. I didn't feel good about that. I couldn't do it. So I quit. And that was how I was introduced to sex work. That's how I started prostituting. So after I quit that job, I ended up being introduced to sex work. I get out there on the streets. It's all about to tie together now. I get out there on the streets. The police, all of the people that they could be arresting, all of the people that they could be targeting, they would always pick on the trans girls. They would always get the black trans girls. Why? Because morally, they saw us as worse than the female prostitutes. They saw us as worse as the dudes out there who was prostituting on the next corner. So we were, and they didn't see us as big of a threat They didn't see us as big of a threat as the males, as the men who wasn't taking hormones and had on high heels and had their nails done and wasn't in a position to be scuffling. Although some of us was formidable opponents, I ain't gonna lie. Um, the girls could run in high heels. I've seen them do it plenty of times. But the police would always target the black trans girls because we were the most vulnerable and they could do the most to us and get away with it because society as a whole had been programmed not to sympathize with human beings like us. So, this is what I think it is with black women who make comments like you'll never be a woman and you ain't a real woman. First of all, in my opinion, y'all are the reason why we cannot overcome patriarchy. This is why this will always be a patriarchal society because you are the type of woman that will cut off your nose to spite your face rather than accept that there are beings like you who don't have the same plumbing as you, but still resonate with you and still connect more with you and still identify more with you, your ego, and the way that you've been bred to believe that your womb is the most valuable part on you. You are the reason you're gatekeeping, trying to hold off everything out of womanhood, not realizing that everything came from an external womb. Everything came from this great entity that had a womb that never subscribed to any of these constructs that we now live in society. And so the reason we'll never get back to that place of wholeness and understanding that we all come from the same place is women like you, women who think like you. You was born a man, you got a penis, you'll never be a woman. It all comes from the great mother. It all comes from that great being that had a womb and created all this. All of this comes from that. And you have also forgotten yourself. In the other video, I said a lot of these men have forgotten themselves, but a lot of y'all have forgotten y'allself. And this is the reason why the patriarch will always have his foot on your neck because you will never rise back to your rightful place if you keep stepping on some of the beings who have the potential to support you in your rise to make space for, and it's like you want to sit on top of them. It's like you want to sit, you don't want to stand with them, you don't want to lift each other up like in this picture right here where they all holding each, where they all helping to lift up the cross. You want to be exalted. Y'all want to be exalted. Y'all want to be held up. Y'all don't want to share in the load. You don't want to carry the cross together. You want to sit up like Cleopatra on that thing and have all these what you call lesser beings holding you up. A lot of y'all got that mentality. You want to sit up on this thing. You want to sit up and be carried out like Cleopatra, and you want these slave worker men just because they got penises for no other reason. You got a penis. You're less than me. Lift me up, carry me. That's the mentality. And this is why you fail to where you are now. This is how we went from a matriarchal society to a patriarchal society. And this is why we remain a patriarchal society. Because you want to be exalted. You want to be carried. So, no, I don't think women like her hate trans women, hate black trans women. I don't even think y'all threaten. I think that this is a game. When we think about life, even in war, war is a game for some people. With all of the death, with all of this destruction, with all of the horrible things that happen, all the lives that are lost, some people look at war and see it as a game. And there are black women who see this all as a game. and they're in a position to bully people that they feel are inferior to them. Because a lot of times when trans people do stuff to women, it's out of ignorance. It's it's out of a lack of a support system. It's out of childhood trauma, things that they've experienced when they little. I'm not justifying everything that black trans women do, but you could mostly pick it. You could mostly, like, if you spend a little time around a lot of black trans women, you could see the things that they say about black females that are derogatory, or the things that they say about women who were born with wombs, the negative things that come out of it. If you spend a little time around them, you could quickly see where the root of it stems from. If you go and meet their family, if you go and be around their mamas and their daddies and their cousins, or just take a little peek into their life, you'll see where the trauma come from just like that. You will see where the trauma comes from just like that. And for you to be talking about you, the blueprint and everything came from you, and you don't even have the capacity to understand that not this man, not this boy, but before it was any of that, before it had an opportunity to be any of that, it was a child, it was a baby. And there's something that that child did not get. There's something that that child did not receive from a being that looked like you. That being was harmed by something that looked like you. I refuse to believe that every trans woman is around here hating on females and mistreating females and doing females in a dirty, ugly way simply because they messy. It's not that simple. There's some harm that's happened. And if you call yourself the blueprint and you call yourself the mother, how can you be that when you don't have the capacity to see that? I was not born with a womb, and I still can see that. I was born with a womb, a spiritual womb, not a physical womb. I had to lay on the table for the gash and cut I have between my legs. And no, it's not a portal to bring anything here. And I'm thankful for that. Because I ain't trying to bring nothing into hell. We got enough in hell right now. I ain't trying to bring shit here. I'm trying to help y'all with what y'all bringing here. I'm trying to heal all of these halflings that y'all keep birthing. It would be selfish for me to want to bring a child into a world like this. I'm out here every day wrestling, trying to heal all of these children y'all done broken through away. You'll never be like me. You'll never have no babies. You'll never give birth. I don't want to. I got my hands full. All these little queer children out here not feeling loved, not feeling cared for, not feeling nurtured, not being understood, not being accepted, being put down by the so-called blueprints. All because we can't birth slaves. All because we can't bring no more slaves to this plantation. As if it wasn't enough here, mining and working. Don't even know who they are, don't understand who they are, don't understand their connection to their mother and their father, to the masculine and the feminine. Y'all have bought so much into the patriarchy. Y'all have bought so much into the binary. Y'all want to be carried and y'all want to be exalted simply because y'all birthed slaves. What type of mother are you? To sell your own child, to birth a child into slavery and then condemn it for not wanting to fit into the boxes that are responsible for its oppression. You ain't the blueprint to nothing but hell. You know who I'm talking about. Y'all know who I'm talking about. You are the blueprint to creating demons. All of this stuff that's going on in the world today with the Creflo Dollars and the TD Jakes and the P Diddy's and what's going on with Will and Jada, all of this perfect little binary that y'all tried to create. All these people hiding, all these men hiding behind women's skirts, all of these women out here um begging for attention, doing things talking about sexual liberation because they've been so oppressed and repressed by having to fit into these little docile, dainty roles. Y'all birthed all of that. And you think that I'm jealous? You think I want that? You think I want to bring my baby here so my baby could do this? You think I want to bring my child here so my child could do this? Thank you, Father. Oh, thank you, Father. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, thank you. With a white man up on the cross. You think I won't do that? You think I'm jealous of that? You think I'm jealous of that? Nah, I'm be honest with you. At one time I was. I ain't know no better. But I wouldn't trade places with you for all the tea in China right now, sis. I wouldn't trade places with you for all the tea in China. For all the money in what's his name? For all the money in Oprah Winfrey banking account. I would never go through all that suffering and pain to birth something that I know was gonna come here and suffer. And y'all be happy. Oh, I'ma bring my baby up. My baby gonna praise the Lord. My baby gonna worship King Jesus. And I don't care what none of y'all say. These children see white Jesus. Especially if you send them to private schools, Catholic schools. Because we already know they got white statues all over that. You're embedding them with colorism. You're embedding them with self-hate. All of the opportunities. Then y'all talk about the HBCUs like that's so wonderful. Your child went to a HBCU. A HBCU ain't nothing but a white college dipped in chocolate. Y'all ain't learning nothing different. It's just a support system to support people with your same skin complexion. But y'all ain't coming up out of there no different. Y'all learning the same thing at HBCUs as they learning at these other white Ivy League colleges. It ain't nothing but y'all learning how to be bougie, elitist, and think y'all better than everybody else. You birthed this, and you think that I'm jealous of you. You think I want to be you. No. I will never be ashamed of my connection to my mothers. That's why I went and got breast. That's why I went and got my hips done. I always had ass. I'll never be ashamed of my connection to my mother. But please understand, I am not copying or mimicking. I'm channeling because this is in my DNA. Boys have to learn how not to express their femininity. They're taught to perform masculinity. Y'all train them through the military and military school and ROTC and teaching them how. That's why that father figure, y'all always talking about that's important. Because that daddy, he done already got the game. He done already received his instructions from the brotherhood. All of these behaviors are taught. But we come here being empathetic to things, having compassion, having intuition, having the ability to be vulnerable, to cry, to love, to understand and understand. Children are birthed with those gifts. And that's your divine feminine. We have to learn how to pretend like we don't have that. And I was never able to do it. I was never able. I never had a closet to hide in. I never came out the closet because I was never in one. Coming out, a coming out day. Come out of what? Come out of where? Come out. Never had. I was always. You could see it from that. You could see it from down the street. That's why when they say you learned from me, learned what? I always walked with a switch in my hips. I always talked. I've always been compassionate, empathetic, emotional. I've always been that. I've always been sensitive. I've always been loving. I've always been protective. I've always been nurturing. Now, when I was a child, there was a little phase where I did used to like to dissect things and open things up. But guess where I got that from? Your Old Testament Bible. Reading that word. How they were sacrificing the animals for God. That's where I learned that at. That's why I learned to hate snakes and things. I learned that from your good book. Pestilence. That's why I learned to hate those things. That was taught through your good word, through your holy word. But we come here being in tune with our masculine and feminine energy. We come here. We come here like that. We come here whole. And y'all teach us how to suppress parts of ourselves. Boys not supposed to do that. Boys not supposed to say that. Girls are not supposed to do that. Girls are, you're a little girl. Girls don't do that. No, no, baby, that's not how girls act. This, you're a boy. This is what boys supposed to do. That's not right. Y'all groom us. Then y'all try to say we copying off y'all. No, bitch, we already had it all in us. Genitalia, if genitalia determined who and what we were gonna be, there would be no such thing as intersexed beings. There would be no such thing as hermaphrodites. Y'all try to make it look like it's something wrong with people who are born with both genders. If you ask me, it's something wrong with us. Y'all try to make it look like intersex people, it was a malfunction, it was something wrong. Yeah, it's something wrong with their environment. It's something wrong with the society they have to live in. It's nothing wrong with them. It's something wrong with everything around them. When they say 144,000 gonna get into heaven, child, they probably just talking about the intersex. The rest of us, we fighting to getting in. The little population that's gonna be able to access heaven is probably the intersex people. It's probably the hermaphroditic beings. We the ones fighting to find heaven. And a lot of y'all ain't gonna never get it. But just like the dinosaurs, as big and as powerful as they are, you think because it's so many of y'all. You think that because y'all are dominant culture, because there's more of y'all than us. Well, child, the dinosaurs was big and powerful. They was a big and powerful, mighty group too. And they still went extinct. If time could take out a dinosaur, you think it can't take out you? And y'all gonna keep on doing this until y'all gonna make the ancestors come back, the primordial beings gonna come back and they gonna start touching your babies. And they gonna start changing the abilities of these children. Then what y'all gonna do then? When the child was born with a penis and all of a sudden a womb opened up between his legs and is pushing out a baby. When your child was born with a vagina and all of a sudden a penis slide out of it and it's round here impregnating what you was calling a boy. You dinosaurs gonna have to go stand to the side and die because it ain't nothing that the great mother and father can't do. So keep on being ignorant and forcing the hand of evolution, forcing the ancestors to come back because they're gonna save some of us. They're gonna heal some of us. They're gonna restore some of us because some of us want that more than anything. And I'm gonna tell you, I do. Now I don't want to make no babies. That ain't my job. I can help raise them. I can help guide them. I don't want to get pregnant. I'm good. 46 years old. I wanted you to open up my womb some years ago. I'm good now. You ain't got to open up nothing. I'm cool. I'm straight. I'm straight. Looking up and down because I know y'all everywhere. I'm straight, okay? I know I had said it earlier, but I don't. Find somebody else to do it. We let some younger children do it. But when they get ready to do that, when they get ready to come and touch these bodies and touch these manifestations and heal us, and these purple beings start to come, and these beings start to come that have the capacity and the capability to defy everything that y'all have been taught. Because all we have to do is come together and have faith. And faith can move mountains. There's nothing we cannot achieve when we come together. When we are on one accord, there's nothing we can achieve. There's a story about these feminine beings who used to gather in a circle and they would meditate and pray. And that's how one of the beings in the group would get pregnant. There are stories of beings that have gotten pregnant through parthenogenic birth and no man was nowhere in sight. There's nothing that we cannot achieve when we know who we are and we come together and we are on one accord. And you dinosaurs, just like you preying on my downfall, I'ma stop being afraid to prey on yours. You don't have no joy for me. You don't have no life for me. You don't have no understanding or understanding or capacity or empathy when it comes to me. Why the fuck do I have to have any for you? Who are you? A lot of y'all are exalting yourselves and y'all think y'all so special, but y'all are the main ones who are creating this world that we keep being recycled into to have foots on our necks. When I be hearing people say, oh, I got another day in the land of the living. Oh, I'm so glad I woke up and got the chance to be in the land of the living. You really think this all it is? Bless your heart. Death is nothing but a door. You think this all it is? Have your spirit been that broken? But you're supposed to be intuitive. You're supposed to have a woman's intuition. But you think this, I'm so grateful for another day in the land of the living. Don't you know that live is evil spelled backwards? That's why they say we was born in sin. Live is evil spelled backwards. You're in the land of evil. You're birthing babies into evil, born in sin, and you think I want to be you. No, I don't want to carry that cross, mother, sister, auntie. But despite what you think of me, I'm a man, I'll never be you. I'm still around here trying to fix all the babies you breaking because they can't fit into the box you birthing them into. So before I get ready to close, I want to read from my book again. And I think I'm going to read what I was going to read last night. Child, I was at a poetry night last night. And it just tickles me because a lot of times at the poetry night, when I go to places like that, when they get my tea or when they, because I'll drop little signs to let them know that I'm different from them. And so I'm at the and so once they get it, the men try their best not to flirt too hard because they know that the women are paying attention. And it tickles me because it shows me how much of a coward you are. You feel a connection and you don't have the courage to speak to that connection because you don't want to offend these women who are also insecure. All of y'all insecure. It's just a bunch of little halflings. All you little halflings. And I used to be it used to mean so much to me to be validated in spaces like that, to be accepted by the women and to be honored by a man's attention, to feel accepted in those spaces. But last night I was just rolling my eyes and just laughing. I had fun, I had a good time, I felt safe, and I will definitely go again. But it was a whole different vibe for me. Like I wasn't there seeking to be accepted as a female and to be flirted with by the men. Bitch, I don't need validation from you halflings. Yeah, I think I want to read the Hattie Lee story. Oh, here you go. Yes, yes, yes. So this is gonna be settle in for your reading. We're gonna read from page. Oh, I love the fact that it's on page 77. So wait. Yeah, it starts on page 76. Okay, we're gonna read from 76 to to page 80. So we're gonna read 4 pages. You ready? Okay. My name is Hattie Lee to be precise. To be honest with you, I spend more time in the realms of my mind than I do in the world these days. Some folk thinks I got some sort of dementia or Alzheimer's. But frankly, it's just some things I'd rather forget. I often vision myself much younger, almost in my prime, hair thick and lush and swept up by the winds of change, standing on the edge of endless opportunities. I imagine myself draped in boundless colors, flowing from me like a tapestry. And I am connected to the earth, the cosmos, for I am the gate, the portal, the bridge. I am the in between that causes them all to collide. As I think of this, I'm overjoyed because I know that I am looking at my future and also my past. I am connected to all things. I am one with nature. But when I think about the wants of this earthly vessel, this deep, bubbling brown melanin kissed by the southern sun, dipped in the sweet Louisiana heat, my flesh is warmed over by the desire for touch. So I please myself with best intentions. Yes, honey, I'm unashamed of my sexuality and the power that it wields. Though I still possess a great yearning, a want, a passion for the touch of a man. I feel it's important that I strive to love and care for myself in the same ways I would allow him to. I understand now that love is sweet and sour, hard and soft, and hate, well, that's just a whole lot of parts missing. When I first arrived here via my own mother's womb, coming of age, I had shame for my complexion because the laws of the land decreed that I was last because I was a girl. Then I was a woman with this skin complexion. It seemed very hard for me. I was stripped of my sovereignty. I was stripped of my faith, my foundation, and my spirituality. It was like they took my very essence from me. Having to raise a mess of children and take care of a household, it took right smart of the fight I had right along with it. I couldn't leave anything to chance. My whole family was in need of my care. I often vision of a time when the community or the village, as I like to call it, stuck together. Not so much responsibility fell on the one, all lifting it up together. Not so much responsibility fell on the one, but it was split amongst the many according to their gifts. But we're so divided now, and I'll be honest, I played my part in that as well. I reckon folk warring against each other was all part of the plan, though. But if you keep living on this side, you'll learn better before you leave here. Hopefully, you will, at least. Still, in the fondest, most peaceful corners of my mind, I could see us gathering around the fire, beings calling down the rain as we dance till we're nearly breathless under the radiant sun. Meanwhile, in my reality, though, it's quite different. It's very challenging to be a black woman. A woman with skin as rich as the darkest soil. You know, they say that's where the sweetest fruit grows. We're used up as workers inside the church, in the industry, in the government, in every facet of business in the land. And they give us very little credit unless we sell off everything but our names. And most times, the name was given to us by the ones it belonged to, the ones who stripped us of our sovereignty in the first place. That's why I like to escape to my visions. I was visioning a child that would come to save us. And somehow I thought it wasn't going to look nothing like me. I bought into this idea that my worth wasn't much. So when my grandchild was born to us, a son, come here and chose to walk in my footsteps, I told him plainly, you could be gay, but don't you be a woman. Because I knew this life was going to be hard enough for him with that skin alone. But the child turned out to be so beautiful, like an angel. I couldn't deny it, nor could I deny my grandchild. And I also live in him, and he actually is a she like me. The funny thing is, he can be found in the word she, but now pay attention, because that don't work none much the other way around. My grandchild, who I thought was so shameful, is actually my blessing and my redeemer. The shame I felt for my grandchild was the shame I was feeling for myself. The hate that I was projecting onto him, I was actually feeling towards myself from being last, ignored, skipped over, passed up, and silenced because I wasn't a man. So lo and behold, here comes my grandchild, born with a privilege they don't even want. My grandchild wanted nothing more than to be just like me. Just like me. I couldn't even fathom it at the time. But as I watched my grandchild grow, I began to have deja vu of a time when I was freer, braver, courageous, and happier. They were happier times. I go inside myself and I start healing some of the things. And now I see myself as a mighty tree that sits in the middle of the village. Roots growing deep beneath the ground, connected to the source, tied to everything. I see myself flying in the air like a mighty dragon sized bird and moving beneath the ocean like a great blue whale. Because though I may be a woman that this world pretends has no value, I am still the portal for life, the doorway to the future, the nurturer of tomorrow, whether my womb is full or barren. So now I understand why my grandchild loves me so, showing devotion through celebration and immolation of me and an endless sea of infinite femininity. My healing and liberation has been directly tied to that child's truth. And I thank the ancestors for sending me this message, all wrapped up in a child I raised as a son, but was strong enough to become a daughter, a black daughter at that. In a world that has hated women whose skin was glazed over in chocolate encased charcoal, pressure bound diamonds in the making. And my child ain't no stereotype of some knockoff carbon copy, bleached up silver screen vixen. Not my grandchild. No, ma'am. No, sir. They're no caricature. They's whole. I see the ancients in their eyes. They're one in a million. I can see there's daddy in them. I can see their mother in them. I can see there's grandpa in them. And I could see myself and so much more. They ain't ashamed of nothing. That's it right there. That's all right. And that's not stock or product or a gimmick or a trick sold on Amazon or aisle 6 down at the local pick and save. That's sovereignty. It makes me so proud, letting me know I was part of something right, something that's going to live forever because it's got all of the parts to it, not in the physical, but in the spiritual, because it's the spirit that lives forever. And it's not about a name, it's about deeds and actions, it's about energy, complete energy, finished. whole. Thank you, God, Goddess. Thank you, ancestors. Can you please give me a minute? I just need to go within myself. I want to give thanks to my ancestors because I will rejoin them again completely someday soon. That's all I got for today. But I promise you, if you wanted a plate of healing, some actual soul food, that ought to hold you. Now, if you'll excuse me, please. That took me on the emotional. I was gonna read that last night at the poetry thing, but I was like, it wasn't the space, so I just performed because I'm going through a lot and I needed to hear that. I knew I needed to hear that. That's why I got emotional in the middle of it because that's why this is called my personal Bible. Because the Bible doesn't prepare you for beings like me. There are not many stories that don't sexualize us, th- that speak to us as wholeness. That there's not it's not a lot out there in which you could understand. This is my Bible. This my Bible. This my word. You saw how that, like, it helps me not to stay mad at women like Tasha K, at women like what's her name, Candace Owens. I go to this book and I'm reminded that every woman is not like that. That every man is not like that. That some of us want to heal. Some of us want to grow. Some of us want to change. Some of us want to see us evolve. Some of us want out of this. Some of us really want to see heaven. I'm going to close with this. We're taught that the Creator has no sex and no gender. We're taught that the Creator is both male and female. How are you ever going to get to see the Creator again? How are you ever going to get back to that space? How are you ever going to make it to heaven if you can't heal from how you see yourself? How you going to get back to that place? How can you even truly visualize that place if you keep trying to make God a man or a woman? You're going to keep missing heaven. Because in order to see heaven, in order to see the divine, you have to first change how you see yourself. Or you going to keep creating hell and thinking you on your way to heaven. I light this candle to acknowledge the ancestors who have come, the ancestors who are coming, and the ancestors who will come. This is my last video for 2023. I will when we go live again, I shall be manifesting in a different location because I travels. Um, the first day of the year was the last day that I spent with my husband before he overdosed and he was found dead. I do want to honor him and pay tribute to him. This is a difficult time for me, but I am not where I was. I'm a lot stronger. So I thank you for that. I thank my ancestors for that. I'm trying not to take energy like Tasha K, like that into the new year. Like, I respect her as a human being, but just like I had to stop entertaining Funky Dineva, and like, cause I can't watch a whole Funky Dineva video no more. Like, I could watch, um, you shouldn't talk to dead people. I mean, I have a different perspective on that. So, but thank you for your opinion. Um, they're not dead. They're just not in this realm. Like, that's a very colonized way of thinking. But yeah, they're just not in this. They're not in this realm. But they're not dead. You know, life is. That's like saying that when water goes back into the sky, it's dead. No, it's preparing to do something else. That's like saying when a caterpillar goes into a cocoon, it's dead. No, it's preparing to become the butterfly. So you have your way of seeing things. I have my way of seeing things. I don't see them as dead. I just see them as not amongst us, not moving amongst us. And that's because I'm doing the work. You have to ask yourself about the things that you've been taught. You don't just accept what you're told, you learn for yourself. A man, a woman. So, as I was saying, I'm going to do a ritual to acknowledge my ancestors. Uh, and I'm going to be in a different place. Um, so, this will be my last video for the year, but I will return at a different location for my New Year's videos. Thank you for the people who come on the live. Thank you for all of the thumbs up. Thank you for all the support you've been giving me on my recent videos. I was shocked that The Color Purple got so many views. And I was also shocked that I wasn't really that surprised that y'all enjoyed the rant and that one got those views because y'all like to see me crunk. Y'all like to see me crunk. But I was kind of shocked that the decolonizing your mind as a black indigenous person got that many views because I was extremely calm. So it shows me that consciousness is changing and that beings are truly arriving at the space where they're prepared for this message. You know, beings are being prepared. So I'm thankful for that. Like as we've gotten closer to the end of the year, I've seen a definite shift in how y'all have been showing up on this channel, and it's starting to be like it was when I first created it. I'm starting to feel that shift. Altogether, my channel has over 1 million views, which is not something to laugh at, because of the content that I put out. I don't put out content just to entertain y'all. I don't go live just to make y'all laugh or just to pass the time or to make you forget what's going on. I really be speaking from my heart and I be being vulnerable and sharing a lot of information that I feel like the world isn't ready for. And even with the shadow ban, well, I'm not gonna say the world isn't ready for it because the world is ready for it now. Even with the shadow banning, to say that I've been doing this for 10 years and I still have a lot of support and over 1 million views. I'm not gonna say it's been 1 million different people because I don't think it's been that. A lot of y'all just been, coming back, and I'm thankful for, the comeback. When I used to do sex work, baby, I used to love my regulars. that was that what you usually call them. You won't sleep with no different man every time you go out there and be working on the show. You got to sleep with different men every night. See, some girls they didn't understand that. You got to have your regulars. You know what I'm saying? And if when you're watching this video, if you're a regular, do me a favor and drop regular down in the comment section. Say I'm a regular. Let me know you made it to the end of this video, and just comment and say I'm a regular. Yeah, I love my regulars. I love y'all. But yeah. So thank you for watching. Remember, if you want to purchase a copy of the book, I am gonna be working on an audio book, so you'll be able to hear me read all of the stories. But I am gonna be working on an audio book, but you can get it at Writers Republic. Um, and it's called Becoming Purple, my personal Bible of recollection and reflections. And it's under my artist name, Kaneem Mafa. So you can Google that to find all of the music. And if you want a copy of this book, Becoming Purple, which is really befitting this time of year, the color purple, you know. So if you want a copy of Becoming Purple, go to writersrepublic.com and put in Becoming Purple, Kaneem Mafa, and that's where I get the largest portion. Get you a hardback. Get you a couple of hardbacks. Pass them out. Give them to your pastor, the deacons, the ushers. Pass them out at the mega church. Let's start some shit in 2024, okay? It can't be no worse than what TD Jackson have been doing. Anyway, I love y'all. Down but down that I say cool and keep spinning and turning in Gandhi Yako Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God goddess. And if I am, then you know you are. As I blow out this candle on the physical plane, it grows with the passion and intensity on the spiritual plane, preparing us for times that are now. Love y'all. Later.